Privite, everyone. My name is Oksana and I'm 20 years old and I'm from small Russian village in Siberia. Since I became an adult, I've been a hopeless romantic and I had many really amazing experiences. Dating a nice boys from all over the world thanks to my Tinder. But what I want to tell you about today, after having so many different boyfriends, is why I only date American boys. And someday I hope that one will marry me. Let's rewind to when I was in high school and I had my first boyfriend in Russia, Oleg. Oleg was muscular, wore Adidas, drove an old BMW and was very aggressive by nature. Sometimes my girlfriends would be jealous because Oleg would win every fight, and if another boy even accidentally looked at me, he'd be spending his evening in a hospital. Everything about Oleg was basically perfect until I asked him to buy me a new iPhone 10. This is actually one of the most embarrassing stories of my life. It was Valentine's Day, and all I wanted for many years was a brand new iPhone. I needed it to take selfies and photos of myself and put it all over the internet. So I said, Oleg, my love, can you please get me a new iPhone 10? And he just looked back at me with a smile. I was sure that my dreams were going to come true. When February 14th finally arrived, Oleg took me to a nice dinner, bought me a rose, and told me that I was the woman of his dreams. Oleg even told me that once I finish my school, he would like to get engaged. He also had a rectangle-shaped present for me in his bag that I pretended not to notice. My heart was beating rapidly as I imagined unwrapping my new iPhone 10. I imagined how jealous my friends would be all, and how many photos I could take of myself and the filters I could use. Finally, my boyfriend reached into his bag and presented me with a gift. I pretended that I didn't expect it and that I didn't even need it, when in reality, my heart was glowing with love for him. I slowly unwrapped what I expected to be a brand new iPhone 10, only to find out that Oleg had bought me a used Android phone from some unknown brand. What did he think of me? Did he think I was a cheap, worthless loser? That I'm not worthy of brand names? I started to cry and my body began shivering. I set the phone down on a table and stormed out of the restaurant. Oleg tried contacting me a million different ways, but I blocked his calls. I wanted to tell everyone in the town how cheap he was, but that would have also reflected badly on me for dating loser like that. A month passed and I was depressed and broken. My older sister offered me some support and mentioned that there are dating apps where you can meet nice boys from all over the world, and if they love you, they will buy you anything you dream of. I started a profile and included the most beautiful photos of myself. I needed to be sure that this time I attract a man who could afford to buy me everything I dreamed about. In the first day, I was amazed. I must have received 1,000 emails from boys all over the world, many of them from United States of America. And this is how I met Jeff. Jeff was simply amazing. He was 40 years old, divorced, and worked as a custodian in high school. I opened my heart to him and confessed everything that my previous boyfriend had done and how he had disappointed me tearfully. Jeff said that I'm the girl of his dreams, and not only he will take care of me, but he will make up for Oleg's shortcomings because he was so wise and so mature. 3 days later, I received a package with a brand new iPhone 10 and an iPad to go with it. I literally fainted when I opened the package. When I turned on my new phone, Jeff FaceTimed me and he invited me to America. And the next thing I knew, I was on a plane to United States. America was much, much better than Russia. But I immediately noticed that Jeff had a smaller house than the other ones in the area. Back in Russia, I lived in an apartment, so I thought that Jeff must be rich if he had his own house. When I came to America, I realized that actually Jeff wasn't really that special when I compared him to the other boys. He didn't have a fancy car, and he also had some bad habits like burping. So after a few weeks at his home, I started using my dating application again with the hope to find a much richer guy. As luck would have it, only 2 days later I met Bill, who was a rich lawyer. The trouble with Bill was that he actually had a wife, and we were only allowed to meet at his yacht or for fancy dinner in the city. Although it was not an unusual situation, it actually satisfied all of my needs. I mean, he wasn't going to get married with me, but he did promise to buy me every new iPhone that came out for as long as our relationship lasted. Bill and I were very close and had an extremely meaningful relationship. He would take me shopping a few times a week, and I would visit him on business trips to big cities like New York and Chicago. But I started to feel that I need something more in my life, something that Bill was unwilling to provide. See, where I'm from, cars are very important, and any man who loves a woman would make sure she's driving the best car like Mercedes, BMW, or Lexus. Bill told me directly that he would never buy a car for me, so I knew that it was the time for me to move on. I have been dating American boys ever since, and although I still didn't meet one generous enough to buy me a car, I have many other amazing gifts like golden jewelry, designer makeup, and Gucci bags. Maybe someday I will meet Prince Charming, but until that day, I will try not to become depressed, like they say. It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Thanks for listening to my story, everyone. I'd love to hear your advice in the comment section below. And please subscribe to Real Life Stories, because I have so much more that I'd like to share.